Games, my guy.
Boom goes the dynamite.
It's only a game. Why did you have to be mad? Games, my guy.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Oh, is this on playing?
Yeah. Yes, Ethan.
I was waiting for you. I thought you were going to tell me you were going to start it. And I was just like this. I was like, and then you just start going like this.
The one we got together about half an hour before this, and it's starting to show. But the one thing I said was that we're gonna play the song, and we just gotta be quiet for the song.
I didn't know what you were doing. I was like, oh, we're dancing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is part of it.
It's all part of it, and it's all good. But how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to an episode
properly.
We should okay. Get ready. Hello, and welcome back to Games My Guy podcast, the esports podcast by fans for fans. My name is Patrick A. Xavier Kenny, and joined as always on our 50th gosh darn episode, Ethan Doc Goose Butler. What's up, man?
Hello, Patrick, my love. I'm doing very well.
Yeah, we're starting off strong.
Oh yeah, we're hitting it hard, man. I will admit, I probably should have had the song playing in time. That was on me.
That was something
my slip up.
That was something we should have talked about.
We should have discussed this. If you had told me the song was going to be played, I would have been prepared. But you know what? You caught me slipping. That's on me, and I went out of G. So that's what matters. But we're here, 50 episodes in. Can you believe it? Look at all we've been through.
Yeah, I mean, we've sat through a pandemic, talked about esports, and honestly, I didn't know I could make 50 episodes of anything, so that's kind of cool.
It's true. When we started this thing, it was the Toronto Defiant jerk off hour.
I'll tell you exactly what this thing was. Episode 1, no one listened to episode 1 to 20 because they're all goofs. They're all absolute goofs. It was just us trying to figure out what the heck was going on. I was still doing it on my Logitech headset.
I was doing it on my old gaming laptop. I didn't even have a camera. I just had the laptop camera, so I was like hunched over like a hunched toke, if you will.
Do you remember the period where you didn't understand, like your headset wasn't working on your other computer, so you would literally take your headset, switch over to your old laptop to record podcasts on?
Yeah. I remember I would be against that. Actually, that's probably a better idea than my current angle here. I had to cover up a bunch of stuff with my decor.
No, that's just how your room always looks.
That's true. The set dressing. That's just how I live my life with Optimus Spitfire and the golden weight belt.
Yeah. The beauty of this episode is that we're actually recording it live on Twitch, so we can actually see, some reactions. And I got this from Adma27 talking about the episode that he was in, our good buddy, one of the fellow Clean Boys. I can't remember which episode that was.
It was somewhere in the summer when we thought.
I remember the episode very well, Adam. It was very fun talking to you. We had a blast. You were our first guest, I'm pretty sure.
I think our good friend
Melvin,
Penguin Perfect.
Penguin, yes, Penguin.
We had him in episode 1 talking about the song he made, which everyone heard.
Yes,
and was not interrupted.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we had them. Oh man,
we had B-Rai, Adam.
So many great guests.
Melvin, Haley.
Yes. Robert.
We did have Robert. I forgot about Robert. He wore a Mario hat.
Yeah.
Or was he Luigi? Or are you Mario? No, he's Mario.
He was Mario. He's always Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah. Melvin Dew, of course, our good buddy, was in episode 40. And I mean, that's honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast. Like, A, it was like to talk about esports and do that kind of stuff, but B, it was also just nice to like talk to friends and like see what they were interested about video games, because it definitely feels different when you're like making something with your friends versus just chatting in person.
Yeah, there's something that if it feels that creative, that itch you always have in the back of your head, you just need to get something out there, and being able just having a platform to do it on like this has been really good. Just to be able to share our passions, share our loves, triumphs, defeats, and such.
Trials, tribulations.
The ifs, ands, whats, and buts of
Mostly
the esports
butts.
world.
Most...
the butt. We did talk about Rochester's ass, I think. It popped up a lot in our early episodes. I think that was like a subtopic, at least in like one of 3 for the first 3 months was probably something about Rochester.
Did you see that's trending again now? I think we just
oh god
we manifest these things and then they just go out into the universe.
Listen, man, we are also the team that coined the phrase moist. Was it moist ears? Moist conversations.
Yes,
because we're cool.
We're cool. We try to make things happen, and we're here to talk about some pretty cool stuff. And we've got some games. This is going to be a little bit of a show and tell between me and Ethan. We've got some games to talk about. I mean, you had some pretty cool Overwatch stuff going on. Do you want to tell the audience about what's been happening?
Well, last week I took my shirt off and played Winston, and I got. And it worked very well. I joke, but I was unstoppable, and I had a very good game. And I logged off after I got that game. But other than that, in like professional Overwatch news, the Florida Mayhem hosted what they called their Spring Classic for a bunch of contenders teams here in North America, and it was really freaking good. I'm not sure if you should catch the VODs now that they're up, but like it was really freaking cool to see like these teams, because the contender seasons for NA hasn't really started yet, so it's just been preseason stuff. But you got to see like the next generation of the Overwatch talent. Like some of these guys are like, one of them just turned 15, I think, actually. So he's got a few years to go.
Yeah, he's got.
But he's really good. His team won. His name is Rhino. He was like 12, I think, when he was 13 when he joined Uprising Academy a couple years ago. And,
wait, no, I heard of Rhino actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, I remember when Flower was the youngest like prospect in Overwatch League, and now these kids are getting looked at and actually seriously like considered at 15. It's crazy.
It's really good, and also kind of hard for them though, because like to maintain that level of motivation and such takes such a lot, especially since you can't join the league till you are 18. So
yeah,
like if the league's around in 3 years, he'll probably get picked up.
That's true. Yeah. And and of course, I'm seeing Karate Bear is also mentoring Sugar Free. Remember that guy?
Sugar Free. I remember his dad. It was like Sugar Dad or something. It was like always at all the events, and all the parents came around, and like
it was a family affair. It was beautiful.
It's great.
Robert from that fabled episode has made an appearance in the chat as well.
To answer Karate Bear's question, Atlanta Academy doesn't exist anymore.
It was a phase.
It was great, but I loved it. They were great, but their entire roster got signed to Overwatch League pretty much. So they were like, well, I guess we'll just die.
Yeah, the manager of that team just threw all the papers up in the air and was like, well, I'll just sell out. That's cool.
It's kind of like there's like 2 academy teams left. There's Gen G, Uprising Academy, British Hurricane. So there's like 3, but since Uprising Academy is currently in Korea, none of them are in North America.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
NA is just a ghost town. Other than American Tornado, which is populated by the best support duo in the contender scene, who are both underage. A main tank who probably won't get signed because of a massively controversial past. His name is Shape Frill. He goes by Reiner now, I guess. And then I think they're DPS. No, everyone's just underage. They're just a bunch of friends. They just want to have fun. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, like that's kind of what the contenders kind of zone has kind of turned into. It's just everyone who's underage, but is good enough and plays scrims with these guys, but they just can't be on official teams yet. It's the same in the Call of Duty League. The contender scene there, scene there is rough though. Like it's it's not doing well.
Does it exist?
there
I know it exists, but like I never see it advertised really to watch, or if I could watch challengers. It right? Is it called challengers?
Yeah,
What
challengers.
is that league?
And well, there's challengers in league, and then they call like some of the tournaments that region does for Call of Duty. They call it contenders. Other call it like the amateur league. It depends on which tournament they enter into. Because there's no like season there's no like contenders season like they have in Overwatch. It's all just tournament based, like in Dota and that kind of stuff too.
I've always wondered this with like other esports. Overwatch League, at least, it's very structured in a simple way to understand. Like there's the S tier league, there's the main league, which is the Overwatch League. Then you have contenders, which is tier 2. Then you have Open Division, which is tier 3. So it's a tier 3 system where you can truly understand the progression of going from point A to point B to point C. How does it work in Call of Duty? Or like, I know League of Legends has like an academy league, which a lot of teams participate in. Like I know FlyQuest Academy does pretty well, and whatnot. But how is it on Call of Duty? So if there's no season, is it just random tournaments that kind of just happen? Like what's going on?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, amateur teams are honestly the most things that they participate in is they'll scrim like full on. They'll scrim official teams. Because it pays to scrim against them. They'll pay you to do that. But B, it's also just good experience, and it also gets you exposure on other teams, which I mean is good for them. It's really the only exposure that level of competition really gets, unless like a certain player makes a name for themselves. But yeah, mostly tournaments. They'll do pro tournaments that aren't sanctioned by the Call of Duty League. So they'll enter into that. Money Eights, if you've ever heard of those, it's a big arena shooter thing where everyone basically puts money into a pot. It's 8 people. The team that wins the money, that kind of stuff, and you just participate that way. And that really is what kind of builds the culture, that like super hype beast culture that we see in the Call of Duty League.
I will admit, like we've talked about this on the show before, that just how the different personalities of the leagues. Overwatch has its own trash talk, but we're the good guys.
It's kid friendly. It's kid friendly programming.
Like that. Whereas Call of Duty's like, no, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
Let's get you're trash. You're not making this league ever.
Yeah.
You only 1v1 me, bitch. 1v1 me. And then they walk out backwards through the door. And then League of Legends is just kind of sitting there sipping tea while also throwing rocks at the other teams.
Yeah,
they're classy about it, but they're still trashy.
Yeah, I think the testament to that notion of like how different the trash talk is, the most controversial trash talker I can honestly think of in Overwatch was like Defran.
I was just say Dogman, but
Dogman,
like
yeah.
Defran was just more like. I just remember when he was in that interview with Mika, and he was supposed to just say, "Let's go, dudes." But then he just leans in, like he's like off camera because they tried to cut him off. He leans like into her camera, and just like with the power of Twitch Prime, I nearly managed to pop off, and like his hand is just in her face, and you can see her face is just stunned because he was not supposed to say that.
Yeah, just the most awkward interview in the entire world, honestly.
And then Dogman just yelling, "Cruz is a feeder." Dogman yelling, "Cruz is a feeder." Prophet giving the middle finger to the camera.
Oh yeah, that was good.
And Lastro typing "sex big dick."
Yeah,
that's the most controversial things that happen in Overwatch League, other than like other things, but like real bad things. But like, I know Lastro got fined like $1,000.
Yeah, so I mean, it's honestly it's apples and oranges. It's honestly apples and oranges because I love the trash talk in Overwatch, but it's just a different level in Call of Duty.
It's ruthless.
Yeah, no, it's ruthless. It's personal and it's pointed. It's like
there's history there. So like we talked about, is that the storied history of all these players and teams is just like they know how. You're targeting your trash. Like you're throwing nades under the fucking window shield. You piece of shit.
Yeah. And like it's like the one thing I was gonna mention just with the challenger scene, and I was saying that unless a certain player kind of makes it come up, no one really talks about them. Parasite, who was like a really, really long time contenders player. We talked about him on the podcast a couple episodes ago, I think. But his stint on the Royal Ravens was like a huge talking point for the commentators. They're like, oh, like Parasite, this up-and-comer from the Contenders League. Little did they know this guy's been playing since like Black Ops. So he's been around. He's stuck out. It was just his time to shine. But it's difficult. It's hard for Contenders players to really break into the scene unless they're, being watched by some other teams. And it's really important to these players because it's really hard to get noticed.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. At least with Contenders and Overwatch, that you have like the rolled and smoked my dotties.
Rolled and smoked
Did
by
you see-
doggies. Of
I
course,
forgot. How do we not
XQC.
mention SQC, like
Yeah.
the most controversial person in Overwatch League, who got booted for using a homophobic slur against one of the only openly gay player in the league? Like,
Yeah, that was
Overwatch
bad.
has a fair share
That
of
was
drama.
very
Like,
bad.
that was very bad.
Yeah.
I remember.
Mhm.
Well, I don't remember that well. I just remember just we just beat you. We just beat you. We just beat you. We rolled you and smoked his little noodle arms, just like going like this. But yeah, it's like Overwatch has some good personalities, but it's still young compared to other esports.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
Even like Valorant's still really new, obviously, because the game just came out last year. But like,
Yeah, with Valorant, it's a very, very new scene, and it's still even just figuring out what it's supposed to be because they're doing the long con with the scene. Like they're creating an environment where it's like a tournament system instead of being like a league like Overwatch or Call of Duty. So they're going for more of a traditional sense of building the esport community, building the whole thing from the ground up.
and they are doing a good job because what I've noticed, Valorant does get a lot of viewership because they really embrace the co-streaming.
Yeah,
Which is something that's a very interesting topic. Hexagrams was on Twitter today actually just talking about how it's more complicated than people are. A lot of people are naive about it. They think, oh, look at all these viewers. Like Valorant, this game got over 300,000 people watching it because of co-streaming with Shroud and stuff like that. But like he pointed out, like from the business standpoint, it's very dicey because you can't control really what's being said on a certain person's stream. Say if your game is sponsored by, he said, I think like company A, but the streamer is sponsored by company B. You can't. The company's not going to like that. Like one company's going to be mad because other people, the cross promotion doesn't work.
right.
And so it can be a bit sketchy for certain things. It's great in theory, but it can be in practice harder to plan out for certain stuff.
It's true. Some leagues do it better than others, of course. I mean, League of Legends, the LCS, and the LEC have really kind of figured out how to incorporate brand sponsorship and like big money into the league without tampering a lot of what the LCS is trying to do, like not changing all the things that people really come for it. Like it's one of those things that they've figured it out. It's one of those just really, really important things that they've kind of figured out, and other smaller leagues are trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's still a learning process. Like Valorant's still, like you were talking about, that a scene that's just growing, and they're trying things out, seeing what works for them, which I respect it. Like their leads doing well, like people are loving the game. Go off. Donkey had a fun point about it, but you know what? That's everyone can enjoy what they like.
Yeah.
You liked what you liked, and don't let no one tell you otherwise.
Yeah, and the viewership is nothing to spit at, honestly.
Nope, it's good. Especially for a game that's barely been not even a year out.
Yeah,
And you have people leaving established careers in other games to pursue this game professionally because they see a future in it.
Yeah, it's true, and it's a big spot for a lot of CS:GO veterans or players that didn't maybe have a great time in CS:GO. They've been able to transition over into Valorant, a completely new scene, but they have a lot of experience with the type of game that it is. And
Like
just
Hiko.
popping off.
And Hiko's a player who came from, he's a storied CSGO player, but he's kind of fallen off. His stream was starting to go down, and then Valorant came out and revitalized his whole life.
Yeah.
And now he's got a second chance, and he's doing really well with it. Like 100 Thieves, they didn't like come top 2 in this recent tournament, but they still did very well. Like they're a great team. And I think with some more practice, they could make it to Iceland for the LAN tournament.
Yeah, it's just hard because Valorant's play style is so different and so quick, and it really is a very different game from CS:GO. Like the pushes are so hard and they're so quick. Like rounds are over within a minute sometimes. Yeah, just because the entry frags are so quick.
I was thinking about it. What Riot does, everyone knows it. They take a pre-existing idea, and they think, I'm gonna make this slightly different. It's gonna be a bit better, maybe, and then it's gonna become the dominant force in that like genre per se.
And in North America specifically.
Riot knows how to market,
Mm.
especially they know how to connect with their audience to really boost the type of games they're putting out. Like League of Legends, obviously, like Dota is still around. Don't get me like obviously you know Dota is still pretty big. I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, it
it is. I
is. It
assumed
is.
it was, yeah.
It still has the largest tournament in esports history with the
So like
international.
Dota's still going around, but then like League of Legends, which is a similar type of game in some ways. Obviously, there's differences.
Oh yeah.
But just I remember you told me it's like, oh, Patrick, what should I play? Do you want to do Dota or like League of Legends? You let you? I don't know if you want to play Dota.
Anyone who's played that game and like really put time into it can attest that it is a very different game. The whole feeling versus League of Legends is like night and day. And some like systems in Dota are easier than League, but League definitely is a lot more streamlined and a lot more focused on like the player experience versus like a team-based game and there's winners and losers. Like in League, when you're losing, sometimes it still feels good because like you have ways of getting back into the game, or you can still CS and you can still get gold, and like it rewards you for just playing the game. Dota, it beats the shit out of you. if you're losing and you're losing bad, like you're getting rolled and smoked, my doggies, like 100%.
That's how I felt about Valorant recently too. It's just like when you're losing in that game, it's just like, well, I guess I'll just die for another 20 minutes and then finally be able to stop playing this game. Like you just
but we're pretty bad at that game though.
Well, no, to be clear, well, I'm not good. Like I fully recognize that is on me.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably a great game made when you're winning. But if you're a bad aimer like myself and you just came in to see what's going on because everyone was talking about it, you might have a bad time. Like you might pick up the judge, which is a shotgun, and think, I'm just going to do this all day. I'm just going to hide around this corner. But eventually they will learn you're around that corner and they'll flash you. They'll light you on fire. They'll put a smoke over you. Someone's flying over your head. And you're dead.
Yeah, you'll hear Japanese and then you're dead.
Oh, that's the scariest thing. Beautiful language, but in like games like Overwatch and stuff like that, oh my god, that's the scariest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It just means of things to come. It's so Genji blades and nanos and oh my god, it's just spooks. But we were talking about shooters, and I need to talk about the Ultra 100 Thieves Call of Duty game that happened a couple of days ago. Okay. So the Toronto Ultra are facing off against the 100 Thieves. It was a very, very, very tight 5-game series. It went the distance too, and boy, howdy, did it deliver. And there was a lot of stuff going on with the Toronto Ultra just before this game. They actually had benched Methods off of the main roster and put in a new guy, Insight, who is not new to the other players. Kleenex, the big sub on the Toronto Ultra, was a player that had played with Insight before, and they were just trying a chemistry thing. And it was a big thing in Twitter. Did you see all the Methods stuff? People worried about Methods being benched?
Yeah, I was seeing some of it. And people were concerned. It's like, how's this going to go? Insight hopefully does well. And like, because Methods was like the poster boy for the team for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And even literally because there's billboards and he's on them.
Yeah. He did the whole cross brand with Mitch Marner, those videos where he's skating and stuff.
Yeah, it's been an ice bath.
Yeah. It's just they've invested so much money, so much time into Methods. And he was coming off of one of his best weekends ever, like the week before this one. He was obviously a huge standout player, and he was a big reason why they were staying in certain search and destroy maps. But they benched him, and it was something that a lot of Ultra fans, including myself, honestly, I was a little concerned with. I really didn't think Methods was the issue coming into this new season, but Insight has kind of done something chemistry wise. He fills the role that Methods does. He's a strong AR, but the difference that I honestly saw between Insight and Methods was that Insight, he plays the objective. Like
Yeah.
he'll go on to hard points with the AR and just hold it down. Like I was watching one of the maps he was playing on Checkpoint. It was hard point, and he was just sitting on. He had the most objective time, and he went on an 11 spree. So he's really, really performed. He was the main reason that they kind of came back in that series. 100 Thieves was up 2-0 going into the third game, and Toronto Ultra just popped off and reverse swept. It was honestly the hypest thing I had watched in a long time. It was just really cool to see the Ultra win one.
Trust me, my friend. As a fan of teams who are known for the feeling of it feels good to win one, I know that feeling well, and I know, especially with reverse sweeps. A lot of the teams I cheer for seem to be real good at it.
Yeah,
They shouldn't get them in that situation a lot, but they happen to be there all the time, and they find their way out. And so it's nice. I don't actually wait. 100 Thieves are my team.
I was gonna say
Damn it.
it's a difficult time just because two of your favorite teams are playing. You got to pick one. But yeah,
What a rough go of it, man. I had 100 Thieves losing that. Golden Guardians won 3 games in a split. I don't really have a Valorant. I guess FaZe just lost in Valorant. I don't remember what it's like to win anymore. I miss things.
It's getting
Shut up, Karate Bear. I know it's forcing me up, but I like them.
It's getting sad and cold at the Butler camp.
Yes, but eventually, listen. You mark my words. Things are turning around in April.
Yeah.
All right. Austin's going all the way. We're going straight to the top. Golden Guardians are going to Worlds. Niles is going to be crowned Worlds MVP. And yeah, Faker who? Niles. That's who's coming in.
Yeah.
T1 Demon King. No, it's the Chewy boy.
T1 Niles. That's what I'm going to see for sure.
It's just going to be Niles versus T1 because Niles is doing 1v5, and that's how it's going to go.
Man, I'm gonna use a stock reference. You're buying low to sell high.
Damn right.
Yeah,
I'm going to the moon.
The risks for you are outweighed by the reward of hopefully one of your teams winning. I can see where you're coming from.
It's that high. I'm always chasing it. Like,
yeah,
it's bad teams. They're bad teams lose. Shot Pikachu face. Listen, they're bad when I pick them. They just become bad because of my love. I think that's what keeps happening.
It's just you're incorrigible. You root for the underdog every time, and every time the underdog proves to you why they're the underdog.
One of these days, I'm going to be right with one of my picks. I don't know when it's going to happen. There's going to be a new esport come out, and it's going to be the biggest one. I'm going to be right this time. You watch. I picked FaZe Clan. Why? Because Rochus' ass and Baby Bay's arms. All right, let's go. We're coming in clutch. Baby Bay's smitten. I think that's what he's doing, but that's what he keeps saying. But either way, one of these days I'm going to be right. One of these days I will be happy.
Hey, I believe it. And I'm here waiting with bated breath for the moment that one of your teams raises the trophy, because we'll be old men. We'll be such old
Overwatch
men.
League 2030.
Yeah, exactly.
Sugar Free's finally of age. He comes out of retirement.
Sugar Free's a coach.
Yeah, he's retired again, started coaching. The Boston Uprising to their first championship with Rhino on main tank. And Jerry returns because I want him back.
And Jerry's there, and I'm there.
And I'm there. I'm playing flex support over Myeonbon because they said they needed a gold boy to win this game.
Yeah, we need your. I believe the word they chose was spunk.
Yes, my moist hands. No, that's not right. Damn it.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
A Dragon Ball Z reference to cover it up.
Remember that time when Trunks was Goten was the superhero?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hi-yo. We saved it, buddy. They won't know. No one will hear that.
They're watching. This really be 2019. Be Melvin 2. Be Valiant fan. Life is good. It's not me anymore. Wait, he's right. I'm not the laughing stock of the league.
Yeah, finally there's another scapegoat to take your place.
Oh, I was sad when it happened, but good lord.
Yeah, I mean, we can touch on the team announcement a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, oh my god, so many things are happening. I forgot that the Valiant announced they didn't even announce it. Their LGE announced it on Weibo in the middle of the night in North America. Probably perfect time in Asia.
Yeah.
But of course time difference. But I'm not sure why I explained that, but still it's just like the Valiant hasn't even announced their roster
Yeah.
on Twitter. It's literally just Weibo.
It's been a
and
ghost
literally
town.
yeah, they also announced their schedule, and Valiant hasn't said a damn word. They have a main. We talked about this in just our group chats, but one of their fucking main tanks hasn't played the game competitively since 2018. He retired 3 years ago, and they thought, "Well, this guy's our guy." Their main support is actually a really good player for off tank. He's not a main support player. He's never played that in his life in his pro career. They have Crystal, who dipped to go hang out with his girlfriend back in 2019. Somehow got signed to the Charge, never played, and then dipped again. He's just collecting that bag. I said flex tanked. I said I'm off tanked, whatever.
Yeah. No,
But like, yeah, their roster has like 2 players who are kind of interesting.
yeah, and you know, it's weird that they've just dropped all of NA completely, you know, like not posting it on Twitter and all that stuff. Like, I mean, there's got to be some Valiant fans who want to cheer for the Valiant. Hopefully at this point, but
I don't think so. Not North America, even in China, man, they do not like this team.
Across the board, they're just getting blacklisted. It's gonna be tough to see to watch, honestly.
It's like you're right. Like, when you said it's tough to man, think about APAC. Like, it's Shanghai Dragons who are undeniably the top in APAC.
Yeah.
But 2 through 7 is a free for all. There's no clear cut number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Any one of those teams could go either way. Let's say, objectively speaking, who's the, like, if you think of like, even if they just the Guangzhou Charge per se, let's say they have fun Kariv, like every team in APAC is stacked. If they take a map, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, everyone's kind of counting them out. It's an easy kind of thing to just judge by just the lack of experience of the team. And I mean, it's going to be tough for the players that are going to be playing in that. I honestly, I feel bad for Crystal and all the players who are just going to have to kind of weather the storm with just kind of the hate that they're going to be receiving. It's not well directed, of course, but it's this whole situation. It's just way bigger than the players.
That's the thing. We meme and say, "Oh, the flex tank is a main support," but like,
it's
I feel
just
bad.
bad.
Like, I'm not. I would do that. If you were a pro off tank and you were offered an Overwatch League contract,
and you're sitting doing nothing,
I would take that.
Yeah.
Like, you would be a fool not to. Some will not be a fool not to. Some players had principle. Like Dia turned down an offer, I believe, because he thought there's a very unlikely real chance they might go winless, and he's like, I don't know if I can mentally handle that again.
Yeah,
because he was in season 1 Dragons, and that was a horrible mental situation for any of those players. And so I can't imagine some going through that again. And like, yeah, I don't hate any of these players. It's not their fault. Like, even Crystal, yeah, he was an asshole for briefly. I don't know if he still is, but like, I respect him getting that bag, man. Like, he has been on 3 different Overwatch League teams. Somehow.
And we really haven't seen what he's actually capable of.
Although he's not really playing his actual role here either, to be honest.
Yeah, he's playing hit scan, right?
Yeah, he's a flex DPS.
So I don't. Yeah, it's just it's more about the composition that I think is fair game to criticize. Like the composition of the team, the coaches they've chosen. Just it doesn't seem to make sense. It looks like it was put together last minute. It was put together last minute.
And that's the thing too. Like, they've got all these teams have been scrimming for like a month or so at least, and this team is just put together now. Half of them are playing off role or never played since 2018. They probably maybe played ladder, but like a lot of people predict he might just be player coach. But like, still, like, if you haven't been playing competitively since 2018, how much knowledge are you bringing to the game?
Yeah,
as a coach even.
And how much practice and how much time have you really missed over those years versus a player who's been playing the whole time?
The game's changed a lot. Like, there's different heroes. Like, if you quit playing in 2018, you wouldn't know Wrecking Ball's here, Sigma, Echo, Baptiste, like half the most played characters in the game right now, you would not know exist.
You'd
if
be
you had
coming-
not been paying attention.
You'd be coming out of freaking Time Machine. You'd be like, "What year is it?" And then Wrecking Ball comes in your face, and you're like, "What is a Wrecking Ball?"
What is this? What is a grapple hook? You say? What do I do with it?
What?
spin?
I do what?
I just actually want to see this guy play Wrecking Ball only, and he's just like grapple. He just spins the whole time. He's like, I'm doing it, team. I'm stalling.
I'm doing it. I'm Challenger.
And then Carpe's eyes just glow red, and then his Wrecking Ball just explodes, and then their main stage like just flies off
Yeah.
as a little hamster to the abyss.
I gotta say, his wave animation is still my favorite. Just the little hamster just wah, like out of the ball. It's so fucking funny. I love
I
it.
saw someone say like when he gets demet, like let him be demetched
Yeah.
is one of their things. Can you imagine if he kind of like what's that? There's a character in League, right? If he gets killed, he has like a couple seconds
yeah,
where he's like super powered, but he's really quick. Can you imagine if that was Hammond? He just gets demetched and then just come at you with little knives for like a couple seconds. He can try and get back in his match.
Yeah, that would be fun. And like, I wonder what would his abilities be?
He just claws at you. He stampers up your leg. Oh, Scion. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, Kled. No, it's Kled. It's not Scion.
Yeah, idiot.
it's Kled. Scion, Adam. Come on. You know,
yeah.
Adma. You know better than that.
Tisk.
Yeah, honestly.
Get
Well,
back to that one character you play.
well. Speaking about signs, speaking about. The...
Sorry, did you just okay? You can climb up another player's ass and operate them like a Jaeger. Oh my god,
That's his ultimate when he's demeched.
oh,
Must find a ball. Must find a ball, and he just.
chew through my ball sack. That's his final move, and he just looks at you wrong.
He looks at you over his shoulder. Well, we've been talking about some League of Legends. We've been talking about some of the characters, but I think to end off this wonderful podcast, we should talk about some League of Legends, which we will be playing later together with some of the Clean Boys. So be sure to stay tuned after to see that. You can always see it on Patty Aches on Twitch. But yeah, I mean, we had a pretty interesting weekend, and the game that I really wanted to talk about was the TSM versus Team Liquid game. It was a banger, honestly. It was another game like the Toronto Ultra game that went the distance completely, went to a game 5, and TSM with the highest paid LCS player in Sword Art. I think it's 7 million over 3 years. I think
It's 6.
6
yeah,
years.
He's making 3 million a year. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. So the number one paid player in the LCS is on this roster, and they actually won. They won game 5, but it was a little shaky at the beginning because not Cloud9. Team Liquid had 2 games up on them. It was pretty insane. It really, honestly, the way that Team Liquid was kind of playing, it was very clear that TSM had practiced a little bit more, but Team Liquid just was in the right place at the right time. They were warding. They were more objective focused. Spica on TSM was really, really focused about ganking instead of worrying about neutral objectives. And you kind of saw in the early game that they were just not finding opportunities and not trying to win the game in the early game. One of their games, like the first game they had, they were playing Renekton top, and I think it was Apollo as their AD. And those are both very, very early game focused characters. Like, you need to win before 40 minutes or you just get outscaled. And they're playing up against like Gnar. They're up against Gnar, which is a great late game carry. He just gets too tanky for you to even handle. So it was just interesting to see. Like, I don't know if the drafting was weird for them or if they just needed a couple games to kind of figure out what Team Liquid's play style was before they started winning. But it was a freaking nail biter, honestly.
Anytime you get that come from behind win too, it just feels even better. Like, it just makes you just rustles the jimmies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. It's spooky, man, because like TSM is, they had a really, really rough run at Worlds before this season started, going winless. The first time a North American team has gone winless in Worlds.
FlyQuest won a game at Worlds.
Yeah, FlyQuest
I remember that.
was North America's hero. Was
They
North
were
America's
hopes,
blushing
dreams.
boy.
They won the one game, and then it wasn't a joke for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was just awful. And Bjergsen moving over into the head coach position from mid lane. It was just, there were a lot of question marks. So I'm really happy for Bjergsen that they won this series. And it's clear to see that, these veteran players know how to play from behind, and they can reverse sweep in a semifinal game. But it seems like their early game is something that they're really struggling with. And with the meta right now in League of Legends, the early game is everything. Getting the first dragon, all that shit, man.
Yeah, and I've seen how powerful characters like Tristana have become. Like, I was even playing just today, a bit, even at my poo level, and like Tristana was just it's like an 8, and she got like 4 aces.
Yeah,
it was just ridiculous how much, and not just damage, but how much of an impact you can have playing that champion. Like, she's just such a powerful character right now. Like, and the way you said, the way the game is played, the early game is so important that if you can't establish at least keep up with the early game. Like, I know certain teams, like we talked about, because you mentioned how like TSM should be arguably better than they are, to see how much money they've spent on this roster. And maybe they'll get there. Maybe in summer they'll figure it out, because like, it's still early in the year. It's a long time till
it's
World.
very early. Yeah.
But like, if you look at teams like I mentioned, Dolan Guardians have a surprisingly good early game. They crack around the mid game and then fall apart, and then everyone dies and they lose. And so, but like, like you said, it shows how the importance of having a good early game is. But even if you do, you just have to be able to maintain that momentum.
Yeah.
Maintain that money lead. Maintain, like you said, getting them dragons and those buffs.
Yeah. And you can see, like, just from what people are playing, like what the pick ban is, just how focused some of these teams are. Like, Renekton is a character that falls off before 30 minutes, and like Leona is another character that if she doesn't have her Q, like in the late game, her ultimate, her R, she's useless. She has one stun and she has an AoE, and it does magic damage, so it's like nothing for her. So it's very focused on early picks, early dives, getting to level 6 first, and then just destroying, just running train. So it's interesting to see where they're going to go. I mean, TSM is going to be playing Evil Geniuses on this weekend coming up, the 27th. And that should be a cakewalk for them, because Evil Geniuses...
Evil Geniuses have had some moments, though, throughout this split where they've actually looked like one of the stronger teams. Like, they had a rough couple weeks, I think, for the past little bit, but there's a stretch where they were one of the teams with a really strong record.
Yeah.
So if they can figure out where they've been making their errors and maybe they've had the time now to maybe work on it.
Yeah.
Good turn things around. But like you said, TSM has players like Sword Art, who literally won Worlds, and then came to North America to Eastern May. After you've done that, just make the bag, get that money. To be honest, you can win Worlds again, maybe, but just get paid.
Yeah, gotta get that money, baby.
And they've got the money, but they just don't have the wins.
Yeah, honestly. And I mean, the roster from Evil Geniuses is nothing really to spit at. I mean, on paper, you have Impact, Svenskeren, Jizuke in the mid lane, Deftly, and Ignar. And, Impact was on Team Liquid and was one of the major contributors in their world run a couple of years ago. So, these are players that can show up. They're not afraid of pressure, and, they've been in these kind of situations before where they've been considered the underdog. So they're coming in with a lot to prove, but I think TSM is coming in with a little bit more to prove. They need to show the entire league that they can beat teams like Evil Geniuses. Yeah,
they need to show that it's not just a reverse sweep. They need to be able to handily win a game.
Yeah,
not just it shouldn't be a brawl. It should be a win.
Yeah, it's what everyone's expecting. It's what their paychecks are trying to say to them. So, I mean, we'll see what happens there. It's going to be an exciting one on the 27th. But, Ethan, it's our 50th episode, man. It is. And I think it's only right that we devote just a little bit of time at the end here, just to a little reminisce down memory lane. I wanted us to listen to the sound quality of one of our early episodes, just for a moment. It was with our boy, our glowing boy, land and go, Brian. Let me
Our sweet newt to him. A newt to him.
a newt and a hoot, a big newt and a big hoot.
Wait, I got the idea.
You got an idea? What's your idea?
I want to listen to it. So I muted myself.
Let me get this up. But yeah, I don't know. Ethan, what have been some of your favorite moments?
Let's see. I think one of the ones that comes to mind recently was us reacting to the Valiant's collapse live as it happened.
Oh yeah.
Because we were just doing an episode, we weren't even talking about it at all, or maybe we'd mentioned or something. We were talking about probably just something unrelated or something
Yeah.
Overwatch still. But like, then all of a sudden, one of us checked Twitter. It was like, "Oh my god, it's fucking happening! They've dropped everyone!" And then just like it was just the complete other breakdown of our mental state as this kept going on.
Yeah, we were trying to play it. We were trying to play it so cool, and it was just like, wait, no, this just happened. Literally just happened. We're like freaking out.
The wording of it too. The wording was just like, we wish everyone leaving today best of luck. Just like,
Yeah.
who's leaving, Valiant? You didn't say who's leaving. You just said we wish you luck. What does that mean? And then like everyone started pushing, like looking for teams and messages about how upset they were. And it was like, what the fuck? But stuff like that was really good. Our first figuring it out throughout the summer, and like just well, I think they won the Defiant had one of their big wins in the playoffs in the Genji meta was great. Yeah, moist conversations. I will admit that's one of my favorites too. Just because like it's starting to figure out the kind of tone we're putting together with the show. We started to be very just recappy.
Yeah.
But then we started to really develop a personality for the show, I think, and it became so much. No, it was always good, but it just became like chef's kiss.
Yeah, it just took us the time, like a little bit of time to kind of tune it, and we're still tuning it. You know, it's the show is always going to be changing, but I think we found a nice little spot right now.
What about you, Patrick? What's a favorite moment of yours?
So many favorite moments. Honestly, episode 2 was one of my favorites that we recorded. It was just when we had Brian on. It was the three of us, and we were just talking about like Overwatch and Call of Duty and like some of the games and stuff. And it was like the first kind of episode that wasn't about starting a podcast. So that was kind of nice. And I don't know, the episodes with Brian are very fun just because he's like the unspoken third member of this, you know, just with the
music was great. He did that for us, and
and he's helped me like set up streams and like set up certain stuff, and he's just been like a big help. But my favorite memory is when Defiant won their first game of the season, and we got to talk about it, and like we watched it together, and like it was just like a good time. It was just like a really, really good time.
Yeah. Anytime we got to talk about Defiant doing well was good.
It was. Yeah,
they had rough moments, but like, it was not all bad this season.
Yeah.
So there was times where it felt real good to be a Defiant fan.
It's true. And I don't know. And bonding over the Defiant was also very fun. You know, rooting for the same team for once was nice.
It's true. I rooted against them actively, I think, in 2019 at the beginning. I remember because you guys all were like, "Oh yeah, we're cheering for Defiant now." I'm like, "Oh fuck you guys!"
Yeah.
I'm still my Boston boy, which I still am. But like, and I was
Still
like,
am.
I don't know these players. And then they signed Mangachu, and that was one over. Like, I said that. I remember saying, if they sign Mangachu, not only will I cheer, but I'll buy a jersey.
Yeah.
And two.
I did, and I also got a jersey as well, which I've
You
been
joined the team.
I've been secretly saving it this whole
no one knew.
episode. No one
Yeah.
had any freaking idea that I was wearing a jersey under this sweater. They were
It's
like,
got
"It's
your
just
name
a
on
sweater."
the bat too.
Yeah, they were like, "It's just a sweater."
He's
There's
just
no way.
dressed nice.
There's nothing to what?
He's esports fan. Who?
Oh my god. But yeah, let's take a little excerpt from the end of our first episode just to just to tie this all in, if we have any listeners who don't actively listen to the podcast very often, it'll be very jarring and weird. But here we go.
Wasn't nearly as good as Kellex, and Persia wasn't nearly as good as Aim God, and so Kellex kind of
We
became.
were so quiet.
People start to look poorly on him, even
Yeah.
when he actually was playing. He was arguably
I'm
the most
trying-
consistent player on Boston outside of Tuller Hex. to be
Yeah.
honest.
And Toronto doesn't sign Kellex and not start him.
Oh,
That's
God.
like that. Like as a business point, like you need to start him. But we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk all
Yeah,
about
that's a whole
Toronto
nother- that's a whole
Defiant. We're
nother-
gonna
yeah,
we're gonna talk about Toronto Defiant. Actually, our next episode leading up to the season opener on.
Oh my
February
lord.
8th.
All I heard was me just go
Stoked.
and tells.
I cringe every time.
At least, hey, all I know is we were what I could understand is we were talking about Kellex.
We also did this thing where we would preface the episode before the episode happened. We used to do that a bunch,
Yeah.
and that was so cringy.
Hi guys, we're talking about
Yeah, we'll save that for you'll get that episode. You'll get that episode next episode.
tune in.
Yeah, Adma, you said it right. It sounds like you're talking through a toilet paper roll. I agree. It sounds like I'm like I just sound like I'm in like a very enclosed space. It's very funny. It's very funny. But with that, Ethan, do you have anything else that you want to say before we end this episode?
Well, it's been a real honor, Patrick, and I love you. I'm happy we've decided to do this together, and I look forward to 50 more because esports isn't going anywhere, and neither are we. Because
Yeah.
you know what? We're here. We're moist. Get used to it.
Yeah. As long as esports is going on, you'll have two unqualified guys talking about it, waiting for your views.
You will have two mid to high gold plat ranking boys talking about your favorite esports because we know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about. We're pasty, but we know what's up.
Yeah, and if you have anything you want to look forward to, we already have a guest for episode 69. It's going to be the fabled Karate Bear. I think that's what's going to
And
happen.
we're only talking about Overwatch with him.
Just over.
He loves the PvP games, so
Mhm.
we're only talking about PvP with Karate Bear.
Perfect. All right. Well, we will see you all next podcast.